goodness gracious, up almost 4% today and almost tagging 300K. I don't think I officially tagged it today because if we take a look at the live, it doesn't seem like I actually tagged 300. Maybe I did back here, or maybe that was like 299, 700, something like that. But man, basically 300K. I'm not going to say today is the day I hit the milestone because I'm not sure, but I am up almost 4% on the day when the NASDAQ is up 0.4% and then up 0.31% on the overnight market. And my Roth IRA also seems to be doing okay, up almost 1.5%, mostly off the backs of Chipotle and I want to say Sweetgreen. If we take a look at my updated Roth IRA, I still have a little bit of Levi's and like a little bit of those clothing stocks left over from my previous swing, just as like a souvenir. But CMG is up over 2% today. Sweetgreen is actually down 2%, but I fully expect it to move up alongside Cava and Chipotle when they eventually fill their gaps. REPX is dragging down my account a little bit today, but I'm not too worried about it. That stock moves up and down 3% like it's nothing. Well, actually, these are not the daily percentages. Sorry about that. So Chipotle is up over 3.5%. Sweetgreen is actually up over 1%. REPX is down 4%. Cava is up almost 3%. And of course, I got to give you guys an update on my recent transactions. I did buy a little bit more Cava today because of the strength that I've seen in the stock. And of course, I went ahead and sold another covered call on Robinhood. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I am a little bit scared that a lot of my shares are gonna get called away, but this is also the type of moment where you kind of should be looking at covered calls, if that makes any sense. I wanted to hold off on covered calls for as long as possible, and I've been seeing a lot of people on X posting their covered calls, how much money they've been making. And I've also been seeing a lot of people trying to roll those covered calls out. I've seen some people just buying back their covered calls, taking a loss just so they can keep their Robinhood stock. So a little bit of that FOMO is starting to creep up. And that is typically when I actually will start my covered calls. That's when I like to, whenever I see that FOMO starting to happen. And then people are like, oh crap, I need to start rolling these out. That is when I'll swoop in and start selling my covered calls. But even me, like even though I've been putting it off, I'm like, dang, if Robinhood keeps going up, even I might have to start rolling out my calls. But if we take a look at my covered call positions, I think I'm in a pretty decent spot. Obviously, I've pretty much given up on Palantir. I don't even consider myself as an owner anymore at this point, even though there is still a chance that the market could go through a correction going into the end of this year. And if that does happen, maybe my 160 strike call will expire worthless and I'll be able to keep 100 shares of Palantir. Hopefully that happens so I can at least have a little bit of exposure to Palantir. Palantir has treated me very well. Even before the 2022 bear market, I was a shareholder of Palantir back when they IPO'd, and I did sell all of it towards like 2021 near the top when it hit like $60. And then of course I came back and swooped in when that bear market hit. I didn't buy any when it hit $5, but I did buy a lot at 17. And of course I have all of my Robinhood covered calls and then my Nike cash secured put that I fully expect will expire worthless by the end of this year. So worst case scenario, if Robinhood continues to go up, I should be able to roll my covered calls out into next year with no issues. And I also expect that in 2026, 2027, we'll see some sort of a correction. So perhaps I'll be able to keep most of my Robinhood stock. Maybe one of my covered calls will actually get assigned, like maybe the 155 strike for December 19th. That one, maybe I'll get assigned on that, but it is what it is. I'm not going to FOMO too much or start buying back my calls, taking a loss just so I can keep Robinhood stock. I don't really like to play that game. You know, if the stock just continues to go up or I feel like there's too much FOMO in the market, I'll just let my shares go, just like I did with Palantir during the first bull market back in 2021 when it hit like $60 or something like that and my covered calls got assigned. I just like to let it go, and then I'll come back for the next bear market. And with Robinhood, one of the things that kind of scares me about Robinhood going up even more is the fact that they are planning to roll out event contracts globally, which is insane because event contracts and sports betting, all that is already very popular in the US. But if they can actually continue that rapid growth all over the world and also get into sports and different events all over the world, that is insane. And of course, if we take a look at the daily percentages, Robinhood, once again, number one. Not only is it my number one stock, but it's my number one performing stock, up almost 6% on the day. Take a look at my total percentages. It is now over 1,300%. The gains are even bigger than Palantir for me at this point. But a stock that a lot of people have been sleeping on, in my opinion, is actually SoFi, because everybody's hyped up over Robinhood Social and options, event contracts, all of this. But SoFi, remember, SoFi stands for social finance, and they were supposed to be the original social finance app. So I'm hoping that SoFi can compete a little bit with Robinhood here, really catch up. They did release options finally on the SoFi app, so I am happy to see that, but I'm really hoping we start seeing a lot more competition with Robinhood. I'm really hoping that they have something like SoFi's social features really starting to kick off and compete with Robinhood. But in other news, another thing that I've been seeing on the charts for QQQ that relates to this end of year correction that I'm expecting. So as of right now, if we were to fill the gap that is down below on QQQ, that would be about an 18.5% correction. So if we go up a little bit from here, it might hit that 20% mark. So a nice 20% correction would fill that gap. But also keep in mind, after government shutdowns, the average return of the S&P 500 since 1976, about 3 months later, the average gain is about 2.6%, and 6 months later, it's about 7.5%, according to Robinhood Financial. Now, obviously, shorting Robinhood is very difficult with everything that they have going for them fundamentally, as well as technically. I mean, this stock just keeps going up, so it's a very difficult stock to short. However, keep in mind, we are getting pretty overbought here on my custom indicator, but not just that. We literally have not had a down month for 7 months straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Literally 7 months of green. And if we take a look at the weekly chart, of course, this doesn't guarantee that Robinhood will go down. However, there is a gap here down by 106, and I'll even mark it actually because I think it's pretty important. Obviously, gaps are not a guarantee. No indicator or strategy is a 100% guarantee, but there is a decent gap here, both on the weekly and daily, that we could revisit. And if we do revisit it, we will be at about, 27% correction there. So kind of in line with what I showed you guys on the QQQ chart. So a decent sized correction possible for QQQ and Robinhood. Just a heads up for any of you guys that feel like FOMOing into Robinhood. Obviously, I am not a financial advisor, but I definitely do think that there will be a day where we see an opportunity again in Robinhood stock. And when it comes to comments on my previous videos, I don't have a whole lot of comments on my previous video, but we do have a funny one from Not Financial Advice saying, bro really said Robinhood is his favorite app. If I had an app with 300K, it would be my favorite app too. And that's not entirely true, because if I had 300K in Charles Schwab, it wouldn't exactly be my favorite app. So it's not completely true. But we also have Coulter that says, I love my gold card. And within this comment, he also says the only good redeeming method is cashing back to your Robinhood investment account. And I will admit, I have not tested that yet. But if it's possible to redeem my 3% cash back into my Roth IRA and then collect another 3% on top of that, definitely I do think that's a great value for my time and money as a Robinhood Gold member.